Alright, here we are in our ninth lesson of just the maths, and this lesson is called percentages. And this is very specially known in statistics, like 50% of people likes to sleep, and you have that percentage, and we use these all the time in our daily lives, alright? So, yeah, it's a very good topic, but we're not gonna go in depth on this topic, and we are just going to, um, we are just going to have the basics of this topic, okay? So, let's start this, okay? Okay. So, before we start on our very first topic, let's have a quick review of our last lesson. So we talk about the scientific notation. It's how you will show large or small numbers in a very easy way. Okay, a very easy way to show those types of numbers. So first we have when we have very large numbers, we have this form. We have a number times 10 raised to another positive integer. So like for example, we have that big of a number. We're just gonna move the decimal point, at least that we have only one left on the whole number side. And when how many steps did you move the decimal point, that will be the number raised to that certain point. For example, here we will move this one to here. So here we go. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's why 8 is the positive integer there. Okay. Just keep in mind that if you're moving to the left, you have a positive on what's above the 10, and when you have if you're moving to the right, you're moving the decimal point to the right, it will become negative. Okay, so it's not just like large numbers, it can also work with very small numbers, but this time it's gonna be on the negative end. For example, there. So we move this to make a whole number 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's gonna go there. Since we move 4 times to the right, it will become -4, and just copy what we have. Okay, so let's move to the definition of a percentage. So a percentage is a fraction whose denominator is 100. Now when we say per, that's like 100, or like percent. We have percent like 100, and the most common symbol to represent a percentage is this. You're probably familiar with that. And like for example, we have a fraction of 17 over 100. It can be written as 17%. Okay, since a percentage, it has a denominator of 100. Okay, but if we're gonna use some percent to fraction, we have like 21%. So the fraction with that will be 21 over 100. So always keep in mind the denominator of a percentage is always 100, nothing else. Okay. Okay. So let's have quick examples of our topic. Okay. For example, like we should express 2/5 as a percentage. So our goal is to make that denominator 5 100. Okay, so denominator is the bottom part of our fraction. So here we have our solution. So we have 2/5. So what multiplies to 5 that would make it 100? So if we're gonna do some maths, 100 divided by 5, that will give us 20, right? So you're gonna multiply 20, and what you multiply on the lower part, you will also multiply on the top part. So that's what we call the equivalent fractions. Okay, equivalent fractions. Okay, so when we multiply top and bottom part, it will give you 400 over 100. And when we have 100 as denominator, now we can use percent now. We can convert it into percent. So we just call it 40%. Okay. So next one. For example, let's calculate 27% of 90. So what is 27% of 90? Like for example, if we're looking for 1% of 50, so that's 20. That's 20, because 1% of 50, that's 2, because when we have 51, okay, let's move on. Okay, so like for example, let's calculate 4% of 100. So the answer will be 4. But if we have a 4% of 50, that will be 2. But now you can see the pattern there. Okay, but if we're gonna solve, we have 27% of 90, so you're gonna make 27 into a fractional form. So yeah, you're gonna move to make 27 fractional form so that it can be easily computed. So it will become 27 over 100 times 90, and we can actually remove the zeros so that we can simplify it more, so it can be easily divided using your brain, not using your calculator. So it will become that. So 27 times 9, that's still needs some things. So when we plug that, and we're going to get the answer of that, it will give you 24.3 as an answer. Okay, so next, let's express 30% as a decimal. So this is a very so you can make a percentage into a fractional form, and with that fractional form you can turn it into a decimal. So they are like related. So here's the solution then. So we know 30%, and when we're gonna make that as a fraction, it will give us 30 over 100, because percentage always has 100 as the denominator, and if we're gonna turn that into the decimal part, so it will become 0.3. And yeah, so that's it for our lesson. And before I end this lesson, I just want to tell And if you're watching this today, today is April 19th, and today is a Black Saturday, and I just hope that let's just pray to have a blessed Holy Week for all of us people. So yeah, so that's it. And thanks for watching, and thanks for your attention.